Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fights. So delighted as always to be joined by Cameron Vuong. Cameron, remember I think interviewed you before your pro debut in this gym. A lot's happened since then. You've climbed your way up, you made a big name for yourself off the back of some impressive performances, and you're now going into another step-up fight. Jeff Ofori was a step-up at that stage of your career, but a really sort of handedly win, and then you're bouncing on now into Gavin Gwynne, who's former, been at that level, been on big stages. You feel you're ready, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. It's just gone a year since I turned pro, actually, a few days ago, so it's been a mad year, it's gone dead quick. I've had some good fights, some good experience, and I believe this is the best next step in my career, so I'm looking forward to it.
When that sort of fight gets offered to you, are you immediately like, right, let me just have a think, give me a night, or is it, yeah, go on, we'll do it? How does it work in your mind as the fighter?
As soon as I got asked the question, yep, I'll have that, no problem. I've honestly never said no to a fight in my life. I'm ready. I know a lot of people. I feel as if my back's against the wall in this fight, and I haven't had that yet. So don't get us wrong. Although I train hard and I always come prepared, I know I'm supposed to win them fights. So I don't get much of a buzz off it. I know I'll buzz off this. I feel a lot of people are picking this probably to get beat. So it's ideal for me, really. I like that. So tune in November 30th to watch us get beaten to see what's what.
I was going to say that this is another part of the game that you're not used to. Because of the build-up, you're used to going in there with someone, even with the Jeff Ofori. I think people, even though they knew it was trickier than usual, the opponents you fought would have expected you to win. But Gavin Gwynne, I mean, with all due respect, he's fought at a really high level. He's just come off the back of a tough, although it was a defeat on the Saudi card, he's had experience. But this for you is now a case of, look, I'm here to show that I'm not here to sort of mess around and get a padded record. And I spoke to Jamie and he said, look, for a guy of his ability, I don't want him fighting anyone who he can just drill through. He says, what's the point? He says, we learn. He says, but I'm confident he beats Gavin Gwynne. He says, this isn't us taking him and showing him disrespect. This is us putting a respect on Gavin Gwynne's name, saying, look, we believe this will be a good fight, but obviously they have complete faith in you to get the job done.
But listen, this game's fickle, right? If set people sign my match, I'm not going to name names, right? I've only been professional a year. A lot of people are fighting journeymen, padding the records. I know I'm better than that. We've seen us do a bit of flashy stuff and whatnot, because them kids aren't on my level and mess about and whatnot, and people think, oh, he's just a flashy kid, but they haven't seen what I've done in the gym. Sam Jones, Jamie, Jack, everyone who's watched us spar know to the extent of what I can do, and I know what I can do. So if I fight journeymen all the time, people say, oh, that kid, he's a hype job, he never fought no one. Then when I want to step up and earn my stripes, people say, oh, he's not ready, he's going to get knocked out. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. What am I supposed to do? You can't win. Do you know what I mean? But when I flatten Gwynne, then put some respect on my name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said to Sam. I said, the problem is when you come up, especially when you've got a following, and look, it's a good thing having a following, earns you bigger money, it gets you the names, it gets you the fights you need. But like you say, if you fight the typical sort of route you're supposed to do, where we see these opponents come in, and a lot of them are there to survive with you. Let's be honest. Like a lot of these fighters are coming in thinking, oh, it's rare you get someone who goes, I'm here to upset the apple cart. God, if I make it the points, I've done my job here. I've done well. Whereas now it's like, I have to prove a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like you said, has that given you that extra bit between your teeth? The fact that you're going into this with a few people who are going, why are they doing this? Why are they stepping him up so soon? Because as well, once you come out of this, if you come out victorious in this, when you do, I've got to say it. We've all just said you're the fighter. You're going to say it, but in your words, when you come out of this, there's no stepping back after that. There is none of these Jeff Ofori fights. This is Gavin Gwynne's that door to the next level where you've got to then kick on again.
I believe Ofori is a harder fight because I wasn't as battle hardened or whatever as I am now. I didn't have that experience. I'd never done the 10 rounds before, but I've done the rounds now. He sat on my chest for 10 rounds, and I was goosed in round 7, right? And he still couldn't put a dent in this. So if that was a 6 rounder or 8 rounder, people say, oh, this kid, he's shit hot. He's the next big thing, blah, blah, blah. But you lose 1 or 2 rounds, oh, he lost the fight. Do you know what I mean? Come on, man. Like, Gwynne's going to find out. But what's he going to do? He's going to come out, he's going to put pressure. People have been trying to put pressure on us since I was 10 years old. So come and put pressure on, but watch you don't get clipped. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to get clipped on the way in. So I wouldn't be surprised if I stopped them, but...
Well, look, do you think that's another point in your game I wanted to come on with? We see the flash, we see the skills, and like you said, you can afford to do certain things in certain fights with opponents, and you know that probably after a round or so, knowing, look, I know what I can do here. But do you think people are sleeping on the fact that you can crack as well? Because I speak to Jamie as well, and he says what people haven't really seen yet, and they haven't had to see, is he's got dog in him. Yeah. He says he's got that dog in him. Whereas if he needs to go to the trenches, he can go. And obviously, you can't do that if you're not punching hard.
And I've only been a pro, yeah, and that was something I had to bring into my game. But as for dog, I've always had that bit between my teeth. Do you know what I mean? But against the Fury, I was 6, 7, 8 rounds up. I dropped 2 rounds, and I felt like I was a baby then. And that fight, I feel it's paying its dividends now. Never mind later on. I feel like it's paid its dividends now. I feel as if I'm a different fighter than I was from that fight. And I think even my last fight, like, with all respect to my opponent, I knew I was supposed to win that fight. And I think if I kept turning the screw how I was from rounds 1 to 4, I'd have got him out of there. I think, to be honest, an extra 10 seconds and he would have been out of there. But like I said, I feel as if my back's against the wall in this fight and I've got a point to prove. So listen, if you want to lose your money, back him. But if you want to make some dough, it's safe on me.
It's safe on me. Look, I think it's testament to yourself that you are saying, look, we'll have these fights now kind of thing, because you don't want to mess around. It shows the confidence your team have got as well. I want to ask you, when you're doing the 10 rounds, the Euphoria fight, you say, look, it's made me a different fighter. When you go into that sort of fight again and it's 10 rounds, 12 rounds, What's the learning of it? You mentioned you were goosed in round 7. Is it how to manage the pace of it? Is it what have you taken away from that?
Just it's experience doing the rounds. Round management, I think, is the main thing. How to manage them 10, because for first 6, 7, I thought fucking easy this. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then them 10 rounders are different. But that's where I want to be. Listen, I want to be world level, and people laugh at first. People always laugh. He'll never be world level, he's too flash, or you haven't got the dog, or they say whatever, but then when you do it, like Jack, right? When Jack upset the apple cart, he beat, who was it, Tom Stalker. People thought, who's this kid, he come on the scene. And then he turned a couple of other prospects over, and until you do it, they all laugh, oh, you can never do it, you can never do it. It's the most negative sport in the world. You lose a fight in boxing, you got to retire. It's not like Man City or Newcastle get beat. They've got a game the week after. Do you know what I mean? You lose in this game, oh, you finish, you're shit. Or even me, I lost a round, 1 round, 2 rounds maximum against the Fury. I hype job him. Do you know what I mean? But we'll see what's what against Gwynne, because I know a lot of people are picking this to get beat, and my back is against the wall, and I'm looking to make a big statement, so I'm getting rid of all the flash and whatnot. I'm just going to do a job on it, a proper job on him.
Do you have a bit of, and we're not going over all ground because we could be talking about you and Jordan Flynn for bloody years, I think, but is there that pent-up frustration where you've sort of been on the cusp of this sort of, I don't want to say rivalry, but because it was what it was, but where you've been waiting, Sam, get away from it, where you sort of like, we've been trying to build this fight, I've now got a better fight as well on paper. Is there that frustration where you need to like channel that in an opponent kind of thing? I
know with him, it's more frustrating because he's a shitty arse and he doesn't want to fight. And I promise you right now, I would stop him in 4 to 6 rounds. But he's been offered the fight multiple times. He said no to the fight multiple times. But he's trying to gain off the back of it because it's the only thing that keeps his career alive. He's got nothing else. He's got no promotional deal, right? He's going to have to fight on small hall shows. He said he doesn't want to fight November 30th because he needs a warm-up fight. But he's fighting a full month before. That fight's always going to be there because I think everyone will always want to see is smash his face in, but he's shit. And I would stop him in 4 to 6 rounds, I promise you that. Like, no problem. I would even, I don't even want to talk about him. I'm sick of talking about him, do you know what I mean? Because he's fucking shit.
It was more from the side of things of having that fight on, off, as that sort of built up that thing where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to go out here in this next fight and really show the levels I am kind of thing. Yeah, you've always said, look...
And that Euphoria fight is a harder fight, and every boxing person knows that. Taking Jeff Euphoria on a week's notice, because that's what it was, a week's notice, right, 10 days notice. 21-year-old, 8 months as a pro, whatever it was at the time. No one's doing that. So I'm taking harder fights, arguably, than some of the Olympians or whatever out there. And I want to earn my stripes, and that's what I'll do. And when I get to that world level, in a few years, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, I don't care how long it is, because I know I'll get there. I know I've got it in here. It's about bringing it out under the light. No good doing it in sparring. Everyone's seen us in here do it in sparring, and I think that's why Jamie and Nigel and whatnot, they all believe in it so much because they've seen what I can do. But once I bring it out against someone good on fight night, who's got a bit of bottle and he's going to stand there and have a go, then we'll see, and then everyone will be back to saying, oh, this kid, he's the next best thing, he's the next best prospect in Britain. Listen, I don't want to be the best prospect in Britain, so whoever has a prospect right now, have it, because I want to be a contender, or I want to be one of the best prospects in world boxing. Fuck Britain, like, with all due respect, you know what I mean? I don't want to be, what do I want to be known as the best prospect in Britain for? What good's that to me? What does that get you? Nothing, do you know what I mean?
And you touched on that, Jamie said the first time Jack sparred, Jay came out and went, yeah, he's good him.
Yeah.
And Jack Cattrall, like Jamie saying, look, he fights to the level kind of thing, and he said he'd come out saying, look, terrific spar. So, look, this gym's an ideal place for you. Before we leave this off, there's some huge fights coming up. One this weekend I want to get your opinion on, because I know you as obviously a boxing fan and how you fight. You'll have some interest in this. Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev. Look, that's the reaction we get. But heart of hearts now, if you had to pick, where are you going? Who do you lean towards then?
I keep chopping and changing, to be honest. Right now, if I had to pick, I'm picking Bivol. But it's a pick-em, innit? It's a proper 50-50, I think. I keep going in between the two, but I think Bivol.
Cameron Vuong, always appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you out in this. It's a brilliant fight, it really is, and big end to the year.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Thank you.